manage captive insurance companies that help build wealth for organizations. They also have some strategic planning for transitioning from one owner to another and allowing some tax strategies that help business owners capitalize on their wealth. Some of the biggest challenges of running captive management is really just helping a business to understand their risks and being able to analyze that and set up the business owner in a way that we can help them strategize for future growth and opportunities so that when they have the opportunity to invest in another company or do a merger or an acquisition, they have the funds available to do it, or it looks very inviting for somebody that's purchasing them as well. A lot of the companies that we deal with are in the active mergers and acquisition space. So they're either looking to grow or they're looking to be purchased because maybe age or they don't have anybody in their succession plan. So a lot of partners that we have are looking for different ways to make sure that their business survives and that they can either find a way out of their business or find a way to transition that over to another person. What our captive programs do for them is they can allow themselves to invest in a captive that gives them ways to transition that over to the next person. So they build up wealth over a period of time, and that either allows the equity buyout of a new person that maybe they've taken under their wings to transition, or it allows them some financial wellness to be able to go out, put themselves up for sale, and know that they have kind of built up a war chest for themselves. But the challenges that they have is finding that person that's going to be able to take over their business, because not every business can just be bought and sold. Not everything is just a manufacturing company. A lot of businesses are built around relationships and maybe clients that you have. So getting that transition ready and in place and being able to financially afford it, because at that point you're supporting two people instead of just one as you're transitioning, and getting that in place is really important in our wealth management programs. That's pretty much what we work with business owners on, is helping to make sure that they are looking at their personal assets as well as their business assets, and how can they do things where they're planning for wealth and transition and succession planning and moving it from one generation to another, and what is the best way to do that. And a lot of times a captive insurance company for us has been a great vehicle for our partners and our clients to be able to start to strategize some of that. And a lot of them use it for those buyouts so that they can self-fund a buyout with somebody else. They can loan them the money, they can loan it back to them, and they're buying it out. And they're not having to go out to private equity firms and things like that just to be able to have that succession planning in place. The lesson that I think I've seen learned by companies that have done it great and some that haven't is being prepared. And when you're taking over a business or even developing a new part of your business, is having a strategy and a plan. And we have in our industry watched a lot of mergers and acquisitions take place, and some of them have been great and absolutely flawless and you don't hear a thing, and some of them everything starts to fall apart. And I think that's mostly because they went into it with no plan. We just had to buy them before somebody else did, or we needed that line of product that nobody else, they couldn't get to it before we did, but they didn't really have a plan on how to execute that. We saw that happen a lot with, or in one particular instance where a company was bought by the same private equity firm, and they looked like the same type of companies, but one was a direct model and one had independent contractors working for them. And they're two completely different business models. So the private equity firm said, oh, they're two of the same. And they bought both of them and tried to merge them together, and it ended up just being a complete mess. They could not merge them together, so they ended up running them independently. And I think knowing that and having that plan would have helped them to become much stronger and faster growing than they ended up being. Actually, one company is doing far worse than it would. Actually, both companies are doing far worse than they were because there was no plan. Life takes a lot of turns, so we advise clients to make sure that they have great succession planning. I was actually on a panel probably last year that talked a lot about succession planning and making sure that you're really thinking ahead, because if something happened to you today, if you got ill or you got hurt or something catastrophic happened, we need to think about all of the clients that we have that are trusting us to help them with their businesses, what's going to happen from there. So making sure that you have a strategic plan, that you have built that war chest, you have some insurance protection that helps you through some of that, but also that you are continuously growing and building somebody that's prepared to take that over. So the last thing you want to do is just assume you're going to be great for the next 20 years.